This meeting is being recorded.
For problem 16 from chapter 4, we're asked to take a look at each case here and then draw the Newman projection as viewed from the indicated angle. So we are the observer here, and in this first compound, or this first structure A here, we're looking from this angle here. So we're going to see this carbon here first, and then this carbon here second. So what we see on this first carbon, the front carbon is connected to 3 methyl groups, and the back carbon is connected to 1 methyl group and then 2 hydrogens. So the 3D structure then we can recognize would look something like this. This is kind of pointing away from us. This is coming towards us on a wedge, and then we would have 1 hydrogen coming towards us here, 1 pointing away on the wedge, and then the other 2 methyl groups are in the plane. So if we were to draw the Newman projection, the 2 methyl groups on the second carbon, we're going to draw these pointing up and to the right. So let's take a look at what this would look like here. Let's put our front carbon, right? So we have 1 up and to the right, 1 up and to the left here. And then we have our third methyl group pointing down. So this is our front carbon, and then we have our circle in the back. This is our back carbon. So we see this methyl group here, we would put pointing straight up. And then we have our 2 hydrogens pointing down to the left and down to the right. So let's do the same thing here with compound B. So this is our observation angle here. And we see on our first carbon, we have a methyl group, a chloro, and then a hydrogen. And then our second carbon here, we're going to have a chlorine, a hydrogen, and then a methyl. So let's take a look at the positioning here. The front carbon is connected to the chlorine atom pointing up and to the right, as well as a methyl group pointing down. So if we were to draw that front carbon, we would draw the chlorine would be up and to the right, rather. And then we have up to the left, we have our hydrogen, and then pointing down, we have our methyl group. Let's draw our back carbon. That atom is connected to the chlorine, pointing down, right? So that would be over here, down and to the left, and a methyl group pointing up. And then the other group is going to be the hydrogen. So let's do the same thing here. Let's draw a Newman projection for compound C here. So again, we're going to be looking from the observer's perspective. So we're going to see this carbon first and then this carbon second. So our second carbon has 2 hydrogens and a methyl group. Our first carbon has 1 hydrogen, a methyl group, and an ethyl group coming out. So on this front carbon, as mentioned, we have our methyl group pointing up and to the right here. Then we have the ethyl group pointing down. And then we have our third group would be hydrogen. And then our second carbon here that we see, we're going to draw on our circle. And now we have an ethyl group pointing up. That's this right here. We have our hydrogens. Both of them would be placed down here. So this is the Newman projection for C. And then let's take a look at D. So now our angle of observation is coming from this point here. So this is the first carbon we see. So again, 2 hydrogens in a methyl group, and then our second carbon that we observe will have a methyl and 2 chloros. So our front carbon, we'll draw. Ooh, that's a little big. Let's draw our front carbon here. We'll draw that dot. And when looking from the observer's perspective, our front carbon has that methyl group, which is pointing up. And then we have the back carbon, and of course, and then our 2 other hydrogens. So we have our methyl group, and we have our 2 hydrogens pointing down, and then our back carbon, we're going to have the 2 fluoro groups up and to the left, up and to the right, and then a methyl group pointing down.